Facebook is updating its content rules once again. The social media company announced in a new blog post that it's now banning certain videos that feature advanced editing techniques, otherwise known as deepfakes, like the one we saw an artist satirically post on Instagram last year. Let's take a look back to that doctored video to remind you.
Imagine this for a second. One man with total control of billions of people's stolen data, all their secrets, their lives, their futures.
So that was, of course, not actually Zuckerberg speaking there, but Facebook clarified that the update to its rules would apply to any videos that have, quote, been edited or synthesized beyond adjustments for clarity or quality in ways that aren't apparent to an average person and would likely mislead someone into thinking that a subject of the video said words that they did not actually say. Importantly, though, the company noted that the policy against such videos would not apply to any content deemed to be, quote, parody or satire, which again, guys, here kind of opens up Facebook to a lot of question marks in terms of what they tried to avoid in the first place, which is calling balls and strikes, not just in what is parody and satire, but also what is an average person? How do you define these things? And it kind of opens the door, Tom, to Facebook getting called out here.
It's the same ballpark of arbitrating truth in political advertisements, what's right or wrong, what's true or false. And I think he kicked the can as far down the road as he could. Initially came out a few months ago and said, I believe in the First Amendment, which, by the way, is absurd because at the end of the day, if he wants something done, it happens in Facebook. So the First Amendment has nothing to do with it. But his initial reaction was, look, our job is to not call balls and strikes. So this would probably be the first larger slippery slope, foot in the door of them doing that. And I think I don't want to say it's a third rail, but where does that end? It's not just the deep fake thing. It's going to go into, in 2020, the political arena, to say nothing of general user content.
To that point, Tom, I'm going to channel my best Liam Neeson impersonation and say good luck. Because right now, Facebook can't even seem to manage all of the issues that they have on their platform at the moment. But in order to tackle something like this, it takes even more manpower, even more AI at this point. So how much more are they going to invest in that? And who's regulating who at this point? We don't really have great regulation coming from Washington right now. So they're all self-regulating right now at this point, right? So how much can we trust Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg here to effectively regulate content on their site, which they haven't been able to do successfully?
Let's not forget, too, I think that's part of the reason why they pushed internally to promote this independent editorial review board, content review board, for lack of a better term, set up. They haven't established who's going to be on that, but they have announced that people will be named to it. So that might be a piece in terms of saying, all right, it's not us calling it, this is our independent review board. They're not Facebook employees, but of course, it's kind of unclear how they're going to relate to the company's board. And also the question marks, those are deep fakes we're talking about there. But that doesn't apply to all of the doctored videos on Facebook's website. There was, of course, the one that we talked about last year with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, which altered her to appear drunk. And that video would not come under the same rules because it wasn't necessarily altered to the idea that you wouldn't be able to tell was altered. And also it wasn't a deepfake. She was just slowed down to make it look like she was drunk.
Yeah, I think to your point, it might not be a lack of desire to do it. It's lack of manpower. Just do the math. 2.45 billion users on the aggregated networks that Facebook owns. It's not feasible. I mean, AI can solve, we're sitting in 2020, AI is not yet to the point where you can flip a switch and it can solve 99.9%. It's going to have to be a manual process. How do you even scale that?
Exactly.
It's a big problem, and I think that's one that it didn't solve in 2019 and is definitely overhanging here in 2020. And no doubt, again, it all ties back to that big event we got coming up later on in the year, the election, and what Facebook can do around that. Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.